The following podcast may contain spoilers for the movie Die Hard. Hope.
Welcome to Diabolical, the show where four long-suffering friends dissect film's most dastardly schemes, then try to improve them. I'm your host, Adam, and this week's movie is the action blockbuster Die Hard. So, dear listeners, take off your shoes and socks and walk around on your rug and make fists with your toes, and let's get diabolical. Welcome to this week's episode. Joining me, as always, are my friends and fellow podcast conspirators in the guise of the panel and peril. I'd like to start by asking them now, please introduce yourselves and tell me what is your favourite non-Christmas themed film that you always watch at Christmas?
Hello, I'm Lord Manly Supreme, and my favourite non-Christmas related film that I always watch at Christmas is Star Wars: A New Hope.
Ooh.
And I think that's because it was always on at Christmas when I was a kid.
Yes.
And if it was on, we'd always watch it every time. Then it just started to feel like curling up on an armchair on a long winter's night.
I totally agree with you. So I'll follow you straight away there, because my non-Christmas themed movie I always watch at Christmas is The Empire Strikes Back.
All right.
Oh, that's dark.
And not because it's set on Hoth and it's ice world or anything like that. It's just that I have it's the exact same reasons as you.
Bizarre. I don't ever remember seeing A New Hope or Empire on TV when I was a kid. But my movie that I always watch at Christmas is Return of the Jedi, because it was always on ITV at Christmas.
Yes!
And how weird is that?
Oh my God, this is so brilliant. Gaz, are you going to say it's The Phantom Menace now?
No, it's going to be a horror movie. It's going to be a horror movie, isn't it?
That's amazing.
I'm Gaz, and I don't really have a movie that I watch every Christmas. The only Christmas movie story that I have is from last Christmas, 2021, where we all had COVID, so we were all stuck indoors, so all I did was watch movies. So I watched all of the Lone Wolf and Cub series, all of Battles Without Honor and Humanity.
The one that I thought of first, though, for that movie was actually Batman Returns, because I got it as a present from my sister when she first started full-time work. That was like the first present she got me at Christmas, and I used to watch it a lot. But then I remember there's a lot of Christmas theme in there. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Christmas trees.
Turning the lights on the tree. Kissing Max Shrek under the mistletoe with the taser at the end.
Yeah.
And Oswald Copperpot, isn't he kind of dumped by his parents at Christmas?
His dad's Pee Wee Herman, isn't he?
What, in real life?
Wanked him out in the cinema. That's the Penguin's origin story.
Die Hard is a film by director John McTiernan and legendary producer Joel Silver. The film focuses on NYPD cop John McClane as he flies to LA to attend his estranged wife's work Christmas do in their snazzy new Nakatomi building, which in the real world is Fox Plaza. Unbeknownst to McClane and the other attendees, troublesome terrorists plans to crash their festive hijinks and have their sights set on the hundreds of millions of dollars in the building's vault. Upon its release in July 1988, it received a mixed reception, but defied expectations and went on to gross $140 million from a budget of roughly $25 to $35 million. It immediately propelled Willis in his breakout role to leading man status and made a celebrity of co-star Alan Rickman. Willis's portrayal of John McClane redefined the action genre, presenting a normal, emotional person constantly doubting himself and with an average physique completely counter to that muscle-bound men like Schwarzenegger and Stallone, who portrayed invincible, infallible, catchphrase-spouting heroes in unrealistic settings. Die Hard has since gone on to spawn 4 sequels and has become the definitive alternative Christmas favourite. World events of 1988. Michael Jordan makes his signature slam dunk from the free throw line inspiring Air Jordan and the Jumpman logo, called the Jumpman logo.
That logo kind of makes sense because that was his name before he changed it legally, didn't he?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Michael Jumpman.
Jumpman was the original name for Mario.
Yeah, I was thinking that. But I was also thinking, do you think they designed it first? And they were like, we'll just call it Jumpman in case Michael Jordan doesn't want to endorse it. And then they were just like, fuck it. We've copyrighted that now.
Yeah.
Jumpman, it's fine. We'll just leave it.
They were lucky that he changed his name from Jumpman to Jordan.
More decisive than an electromagnetic seal on a very expensive safe system in a skyscraper. Yeah or Mare returns once again. Now, 1988 has been a feature of 2 of our previous episodes, specifically Willow and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. If you haven't already heard those episodes, then what are you doing? Give them a blast. In the meantime, please can I have a yeah or mare from the panel for these notable films of 1988? Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
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 Big.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think yeah, but I can't remember it. My heart says yeah, but my mind says I'm not sure.
I'm somewhere in the middle. I'll have to say yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's got Zoltan. It's got the piano bit. It's got the cool comic thing that he designs, and it's got a 14-year-old kid sleeping with Elizabeth Perkins or whatever her name is. So what more do you want?
Therapy?
It's a bit creepy, isn't it? But it's a classic.
You wouldn't do it now, would you?
I can't imagine him getting away with making big now. No, I know people say that about a lot of things, but I think that's one where it's genuinely true.
Somebody goes into a producer's meeting. Right, guys, let's remake Big. And it just goes flying out a window. The Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Goddamn, even the opening credits of that movie are funnier than most comedies. What a movie.
The Land Before Time.
Yeah.
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 Although it does remind me of boring Sunday afternoons, to be honest. So I might cheat and go meow.
Meow. Yeah, meow, yeah. The Great Outdoors. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And last but certainly not least, They Live.
Yeah.
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 Never seen it.
Huh!
You never seen They Live? Really?
Obey. Consume.
It's an extremely good Carpenter film.
You know of it, though, yeah?
Yeah, I know of it, yeah. I know the consume thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, not a mare in sight, just the one meow.
Meow and a meow as well, so that's not too bad. Ah, not too bad. Right, should we actually talk about Die Hard, the actual film? Who wants to kick us off?
Die Hard. More like hard dick. Am I right? That's how good it is. That's my prepared joke.
Well, you prepared that. Holy shit.
Take it or leave it.
You had a long week. A lot on your mind.
The thing with this watch was I'm doing a wonderful thing at the moment, which is watching films when I'm knackered and I can't be asked watching them. So I put the Disney Plus thing on and I was like 2 hours, 12 minutes. For fuck's sake, I couldn't believe how long it was. In my mind, it was an hour and a half. I was like, shit.
Yeah, I was surprised actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah. But yeah, I still enjoyed it. But yeah, as I say, I was tired. So that may colour.
I think it's better than the sum of its parts. The script is brilliant. It's like a masterclass in exposition dialogue. The way they reveal stuff, and it feels like natural conversation. You don't even notice until you start analysing it. And because I was watching it with my critical head on, I was thinking, holy shit, the economy of exposition here is just so good.
Did you know they actually wrote the script as they were filming the movie? So the script was only just ahead of the filming the whole way through.
That's bonkers.
Like Wallace and Gromit laying the tracks.
It's an adaptation from a book, isn't it?
Yeah, they adapted it. Jeb Stewart wrote the screenplay, and then they had another guy, D'Souza. He rewrote it again.
Stephen D'Souza. Street Fighter director. Pedigree.
Yeah. he wrote it again. He put the comedy elements into it and stuff like that. The production was constantly chasing the scriptwriter. And then some of the scenes were actually improvised as well. Like the first meeting of Gruber and McClane, that was mostly improvised.
The one where he pretends to be not a terrorist. That one.
Oh, you're one of them, aren't you?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Hang on.
funny.
One second. You saying, Craig, that you were putting your critical head on?
Yeah.
Is this some kind of Wurzel Gummidge type
That's
deal?
exactly right.
Some different heads
Cretin.
that he swapped between.
It was worth interrupting me for that.
Oh, it was. It was.
Oh, yeah.
I thought if I don't get it in now, I'm never getting it in. And it was too good to pass up.
That is gold. That's comedy gold right there.
I reckon our fans around the world are really going to relate to that Wurzel Gummidge joke, Gaz. Well done, mate.
Google it. Hey, they rebooted it recently. He's back in the public consciousness, I'm telling you. 2023 is the year of Gummidge.
Go on, Craig. Sorry, what were you saying?
I know that John McTiernan wanted to inject a lot of fun into it because the original script was kind of darker and more dour. But Bruce Willis, obviously coming from a comedy background, brings a great sort of light touch to it. And the reason I don't necessarily love Die Hard 4 and 5 is mainly that what Bruce Willis gets right about McClane in Die Hard is that he's like out of his depth and he's constantly afraid, and you always worry that he might actually be in danger. You know, he's injured. He's not like a typical action star, and I think it works much better for that.
He's relatable, isn't he?
And he becomes a bit of a superhuman in the later entries. Other things about this that are great, obviously, John McTiernan, great action director. You know, the film looks good. The score is brilliant. It's clever. It's Christmassy at times, which is cool.
Yeah, they drop in loads of little motifs, don't they, from various Christmas songs. It's great.
Yeah, throughout the score.
Yeah. And the characters singing as well. Like Powell sings Let It Snow.
Mm-hmm.
Hans sings Ode to Joy. It's like little bits peppered through it. They're great.
Yeah, it's great.
My favourite thing about the soundtrack is, you know, the moment when Powell shoots Carl and there's that like triumphant da, 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 music. You know when Powell kills Carl at the end?
Yeah. It's like...
Yeah, that weird tale of redemption.
I can kill again.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I don't like about that movie is that I hate
That was
it.
the only thing I didn't like too. Yeah.
It's spoofed in Hot Shots Part 2, isn't it? Miguel Ferrer. He literally says, "Thanks, Topper, I can kill again."
So the music that plays when it's like focusing on Powell's gun and then the focus shifts to him, it's like da, 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 and it sounds different to the rest of the movie, right? And that's because it's from Aliens, not made for Die Hard. It's from the Aliens score.
Oh, wow.
Excellent. Gaz, Ben, go.
You finished talking about the soundtrack now, Craig?
Yeah.
That was a nice little seg, that. It all kind of knitted together very well.
Yeah, I enjoyed the film. Thank you very much.
Moving on.
No, thoroughly enjoyed it. Hadn't seen it for many years. Loved it. And I think what made me enjoy it even more is that we'd read recently the excerpts of the Alan Rickman diaries. That was all fresh in my mind, and it was just great to see him in full gallop like a handsome steed.
Which do you prefer, Hans Gruber or the Sheriff of Nottingham?
Now that is good. I'm a Sheriff of Nottingham man, I think.
He's got some great lines in that.
Yeah, I think he's fantastic as Gruber. And what I realised this time, he's got such a distinctive voice. And at first I thought, is he just doing his normal voice? But then you hear throughout just one or two words, not too much, but he just puts in a slight German kind of sounding word here and there.
Yeah.
And so you totally buy that he's been educated in the UK, but he's from Germany, and you're like, fuck, that's so subtle. He sells it completely.
Yeah, those subtle accents are better. You just reminded me, actually. You remember we were talking about in Roger Rabbit, you guys were all impressed with Bob Hoskins' accent. And I said, it's that awful generic American accent that British actors do. And it's not specific to any part of America. And you guys were like, it's a film noir accent, which fair enough. I think that probably is true. You get a lot of actors in the 30s who sound like that. But then I watched the Super Mario Brothers movie, and his New York accent in that is flawless. It's fucking unbelievable. So I'm even more convinced now of Bob Hoskins' absolute mega genius.
Going back to Willis's comedy chops and stuff like that, his agent for the film, because he got paid, which was like $5 million for this film, and is like it's widely accepted as a breakout role, and it was like unheard of, and people going, "This is absolutely mad. He's a bloody TV actor. He's got comedy chops. He's never going to be able to do it." And then his agents were saying to the scriptwriter, "Right, we don't want him to do any comedy. We just want him straight acting." And then he met Stephen D'Souza, and he said to Willis, "Your bosses, your agents have said cut the comedy." And Willis was like, "No, if you can get as much content in there as possible for me to say, like funny lines and things like that, and little sides and stuff like that, do it." And then it was purely because Willis has said get some more comedy in there that it's turned out the way it did.
You got to trust in his skill of line delivery.
Yeah,
because
100%.
I've seen him play comedy in Moonlighting and in Death Becomes Her, and they're very different tonally, and in Friends, where he went for it. The thing about Die Hard is the dialogue's funny. He doesn't need to play it funny. He plays it straight. Yeah,
exactly. But this is the thing. It's like I contrasted earlier with the physique and one-liners that Stallone and Schwarzenegger put out, and there's absolutely no comparison here, is there? He just runs rings around him.
Stallone is a very good actor, to be fair. I mean, Rocky, you need to watch.
Yeah. No. Stallone's great.
Arnie is very charismatic, especially in Predator, but I would agree that his line delivery is generally not brilliant, but English isn't his first language, what do you want? But Bruce Willis, especially in this Die Hard, I think his performance is incredibly strong. And what I really love is when he first meets Holly in her office and he's getting changed in her bathroom, that argument they have is so contained, never lets like the angry part of it come out. Just he's very quietly pissed off with her about the name and everything.
Passive aggressive.
Kind of reminds me. I'm not saying it's on the same level, but what it made me think of.
Breaking it down mentally.
Yeah,
like Craig does with porridge.
I'm not saying it's on the same level or even close, but what it made me think of right away is the difference between Al Pacino when he's talking to Kay at the wedding and he's so mannered and calm, and then him in Godfather 3 where he's just shouting all the fucking time.
Yeah.
When he started that phase of his career, the ability to play it very sort of contained, and the overused phrase, but I'm going to use it in the manner in which it was meant. The kind of low key acting that he does is great.
I totally get what you're saying there as well. I think his style has remained pretty much unchanged through most of the films he's done. I think in his comedy chops, when he has to draw on him, he always absolutely brilliant. Death Becomes Her is particularly brilliant, I think, for Willis. He's absolutely incredible in that.
Yeah, he's good at that screwball shit.
Yeah.
Bonfire of Vanities he's great in as well. A lot of people hate that movie, but I really like it. But like Pulp Fiction, funny as fuck in that.
Yeah,
when
he's great.
The bit when he shoots Travolta on the toilet's funny. When he's driving and Marcellus comes in front of the car, the face he does.
Yeah.
I think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
Just going back to that argument scene, what I love about that is even, I know he goes on, he kind of comments on way to go, like instead of holding back as they were getting along so well, he kind of puts his foot in it. But even before he comments on it, you can tell that's what he's done. You can tell the regret on him. He plays it.
Yeah, it's all in his face and his posture. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the other things about this movie that you might not notice if you're watching it as an action movie fan, but there's a great sort of redemption story in this where he starts off as such a cunt. He's staring at the woman's arse in the airport and like the stewardess and everything. And then...
Well, I was going to say, I didn't get what that lingering look was. It was really weird.
That's, I think, to show you why she split up with him. And then when he gets to the point where he's on the radio to Al and he's like, tell my wife that I wish I'd been more supportive and everything, that's like the arc for him. And then I love in Die Hard 2 when he's, and this is the best line of dialogue from Die Hard 2 as well. He's at the airport and he needs to use the fax machine. And the woman at the airport's like, I get off at 9. And he just shows her his wedding ring and he says, just the fax, ma'am. Just the fax. So yeah, there's that good arc in there. And I guess he gets that from speaking to Powell as well, right? Because he's a family man, kind of like the flip side of each other. Willis is the action man.
Helps Willis find his more emotional side, and Willis helps him murder.
Exactly.
Here's a question for you, right? That's a pretty tall building, yeah? At least 30 something floors.
40 stories it is, because on the poster it says 40 stories of fun or something.
I know the vault's on floor 30, and they say they have to go down to the vault. So yeah.
Right. So there you go. So it's high. So even in an express lift, it's taking you to go up and come back down. It's taking you a good 10, 15 minutes.
If you're going to
probably.
say that they should have included that time in the movie, I'm going to tell you something about movies.
No.
Okay.
How long was Carl dead, hanging from that chain when he got up?
Oh, I know. That's ridiculous.
He must have been out for like a good 45 minutes.
The weirdest choice there is when the hostages are coming back down the stairs from the roof, they show Carl
him,
hanging from that chain. Why not just show the empty chain?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, because you would have still forgotten about it, but that would have been way better.
You think that came very late on? And now Turner said about the script,
Yeah,
it
I
could
think
have,
so.
because it felt disjointed.
Oh, no, because that's in the book. Carl comes back in the book.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so weird.
Yeah.
In the book, it's his daughter at the party, and she does die when Gruber pulls out the window, takes her with him, which is fucking bleak, right? And then Carl comes out and kills loads of civilians outside
Oh, right.
before he gets taken out by Powell.
Yeah, I think that was a good rewrite then.
Die Hard and Speed fonts, were they the same?
Well, Jan de Bont was the cinematographer for this movie.
Yeah.
The font looked very similar.
Not as cheap looking for me as the speed font.
I think it's because they only use that font once, and then they use kind of a standard font for everything else. In Speed, they force that font down your throat.
And I choked on it.
Yeah.
Do I really have to listen to you all slagging off Speed again?
Fucking Speed. What a pile of shit.
A bit of movie folklore / trivia again. While Jan de Bont was working on this movie, apparently he got stuck in one of the lifts, so that inspired him for Speed. That's folklore.
Wow.
That's relatable. A lot of relatable stuff happening on this episode.
There's loads. There's so much good trivia for this movie.
Second movie you've picked in a row with Robert Davi. Are you some kind of closet Robert Davi fan?
Yeah.
Which one's that?
Oh, don't lie to me. Don't play coy, Turner.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Special Agent Johnson. No relation.
Yeah. That joke's brilliant.
It's kind of silly. It's Agent Johnson. No, not that one.
It's so stupid, but that is little moments like that you remember from this film.
Yeah.
William Atherton, again, reprising his role as a total arsehole in Movie Land.
Yeah.
He was just perfect. There's so many good casts in this film, and it just works.
Ellis as well. Has there ever been a more perfect sleazeball than Ellis?
So good.
I've got a brilliant thing here that I found, and I just came across it again. This is a bit. It's not trivia, but it's something that's funny. I was looking for facts and stuff, and I came to the British Board of Film Classification, and this is what they said about they rate it thing, and it said for drug use, it said one of the male hostages is briefly seen snorting cocaine, although he is a negatively presented character whose boastful bravado leads to his death at the hands of the terrorists.
Spoiler alert! Jeez Louise!
So you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow is what they're saying.
As soon as you see him sorting drugs, you're like, oh, fucking BBFC told me what happens to this fella. I don't need to watch it now.
Yeah, it's like he has a little bump. I was just thought that was really funny.
I was thinking, actually, I said earlier that the only thing I didn't like about this is that Powell, I can kill again ending. But the other thing that I don't like, I don't know if this feels like a cliche to me because, this is a very old movie and maybe this was novel at the time. But I hate it when the old-fashioned man protagonist doesn't get on with the most basic fucking technology. Like when McClane comes into the hotel and the guy's showing him how to find where Holly's office is. And he's like, fucking computers. And the guy, the weirdly informal desk clerk says to him, yeah, it'll even help you piss. If you need to take a piss, it'll help you. And I'm just like, oh, God, really?
It's just two working class Joes just getting to it.
They cut the scene where McClane smashes up a printing press.
or Corby trouser press.
Well, he dismantled that because he was bored. Yeah, I think that must have been the time, because that was the turn of it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That had been around the time where I had a Commodore 64.
Yes.
And I remember my dad just scratching his head, just didn't know what was happening.
Actually, yeah, my dad couldn't program the VCR, so I always had to do that. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I remember coming in after playing footy one time. My dad had the new video and he's there with the instruction manual. He sat in front of it. I just come in. I was still in my footy kit. I go, "Oh, new video, nice one." Picked up the remote, set it, walked out of the room. Apparently later he went into my mum and goes, "How the fuck has he just done that? I've been sat in front of that for 2 hours."
It was that time, wasn't it, when the VHS and all that was coming and technology was becoming much more affordable, wasn't it, and stuff. So I guess it's sort of...
I'm like that now with my kids. They can do shit with their phones where I'm like, I have no idea what you just did. I'm at that age.
Not me. I'm still finger on the pulse for me.
No, me neither. Fucking hell, girls.
I'm still showing them what to do. I'm the tech expert in our house, and that's really worrying. Really, really, really worrying.
My dad's better now as well. Like, he's got a smartphone and everything now.
I must be more mature than you three. That's the only possible answer.
Yeah, that's what it is, yeah. Paul McCartney still learning new technology, and he's fucking in his 80s or whatever. So if he can do it, I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, but I reckon he still makes love like 4 times a night.
Oh, yeah.
That guy's a fucking hero.
Do you all know about the actor who played Carl and his background?
He was a Russian.
Yeah.
A Russian porn star?
Which one's Carl?
The guy with the long blonde hair.
Ah, yeah.
He was a Russian. He was the main man in the Bolshoi Ballet.
That's why I had such lovely buns.
And amazing roundhouse kicks. There's some video of him doing ballet. He's fucking brilliant. So good.
Wow.
He died in 1995 because I was doing as part of my research. I was like, oh, that's a shame. I didn't look into why he died. I don't think I give a reason actually for what I thought.
Pirouette incident.
It's the ever after.
But I thought that's a bit sad. He was only 45, I think, when he died.
Jesus.
Got bloody caught in a nutcracker.
Right, have you got any favourite moments?
I don't know if it's my favourite, but I did want to ask you guys about it. Throwing the C4 down the elevator shaft. Reckless.
Yeah, how did he know where it was going to blow?
Great.
That was fucking insane.
Yeah.
But that is this whole thing, isn't it? Because he's just going, oh, what the fuck do I do? And he just goes, oh, I'll just do this. Oh, yeah, fuck it.
Of all the things, if I'm thinking, what the fuck am I going to do? C4 down an elevator shaft is very seldom top of the list.
Well, if you're in a massive skyscraper filled with thieves stroke terrorists on Christmas Eve and people are dying around you and they're missiling the police outside in an armoured vehicle, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
My heart is saying throw C4 down as an elevator shaft.
There you go. Yes.
But my head is saying save the hostages.
You've got a lollipop in this hand and C4 in this hand. What are you going to do?
Favourite moment's got to be when Powell's about to drive off and the body hits his car and he just reverses like forever. goes over the fucking ridge.
So good.
Yeah, how the fuck doesn't he get hit? He's getting shot at with like a machine gun, proper machine gun as well.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's got, my car's getting turned into Swiss cheese, but you're not.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Maybe he's got to live so he can have his redemption of killing at the end.
Anyone else got a favourite moment? Because I got one more tiny moment that I really love, which is weird.
Yeah, go for it.
It's just when Hans realises that Holly is Holly McClane and he picks up his gun and he fires it into the office roof and then he comes out of the office and he does like a disco slide and shoots again.
Yeah.
He's like a perfect disco slide.
I like it's an iconic part of the film, but where Gruber falls.
Yeah, it still looks good.
I love it. It looks amazing.
It looks real still.
I read up on it a little bit. Do you know the story behind that?
Don't know.
So Rickman agreed to do his own stunt and they agreed they'd drop him off about a 25-foot drop on 3. But the people that were dropping him agreed to do it on 1 to catch him off guard.
That's great.
And he was furious. He was furious with them afterwards.
Yeah, that reaction's his genuine reaction of going, oh!
That's perfect. Yeah.
And it looks amazing.
The green screen bit, that is one of the most believable green screens I've ever seen still. It looks like he's lit so perfectly. It looks like he's falling. And then the wide shot with the stuntman doing the proper fall.
It's really well done.
unbelievable.
So I want to ask you, was that a stuntman?
Yeah.
Because you see the arms moving.
On a wire,
It looked amazing.
Yeah.
Because that's a long way, that.
Yeah.
That is a hell of a fall.
On a decelerator.
Yeah.
My favourite moment probably is the opening of the vault. It's just one of the strangest uplifting moments for, it's weird that they instead of it being like a dark sequence where the terrorists are opening the vault and going, we've got our grubby little mitts on it. It's like a celebration, which is brilliant. I think it's a great, it really sets that moment apart from the rest of the film. I love it. We've already mentioned William Atherton, who I think is absolutely brilliant in anything he does pretty much. I love over the length of the movie, the difference in relationship over the radio he has to Hans Gruber and to Al outside. The fact that it's just this, it's like a yin and yang, isn't it? Sort of devil and an angel kind of situation. That's brilliant. And then my favourite little tiny moment is when he first kills Tony and he lifts up his head and then drops it on the stairs and it goes dong.
Yeah.
And I always remember that. I sit there waiting for it to happen going dong. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's great.
Such a satisfying thud.
It is. It's just one of those little, when you hear a sound in a movie and it's not even a second long, and every time you watch it, you listen out for it, and it's just that. And I couldn't tell you another film at the moment off the top of my head.
There's a funny bit on the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon commentary on the DVD where the screenwriter is saying about they won the Oscar for best sound, and he said, all you got to do for best Oscar is use like a submarine bong noise. He's like, and then everybody on the Academy's like, oh my God, did you hear that? And then you win an Oscar. It's really funny. He goes off on one about the Academy.
Okay, we'll go. Craig, one of your favourite lines, please.
My favourite line is when the police bring themselves their RV and it gets blown up, and Theo says, oh my God, the quarterback is toast.
Gaz?
Okay, I'm going to go with McClane saying, I'm going to kill you, cook you, and fucking eat you. It's possibly the most deranged thing a hero in a film has ever said to a bad guy.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely unhinged.
Yeah. If you're not listening out for it as well, you kind of don't hear it as well, because there's music going on, punching, and then there's that being said in the background. So it's like
it's almost like a parody of what an action movie hero should say. Is like a pithy one-liner. Is he off someone?
I think that must have been one of the improvised scenes, because they must have kept that in and thought it was just nuts, wasn't it? I suppose.
Yeah.
Lord Manley, soup.
Hans Gruber's having a conversation with Holly McClane. She calls him a common thief, and he says, I am an exceptional thief, Mrs. McClane, and since I'm moving up to kidnapping, you should be more polite.
Yeah, that's great.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Her reaction to that is absolutely stunned as well. She goes,
yeah. It's fantastic.
I think that might be the line that Gary Marn used to do in the quotes game to try and catch me out. See if I can remember what it was from.
Big up, Gary Marn.
And mine is just simply, hey, sprechen Sie talk?
Yeah, I had that one written down as well.
Gold. Gruber and company pose as terrorists as cover for their dastardly plot to raid the Nakatomi building for the $640 million of untraceable bearer bonds they have in their vault. They quickly take over the building and control almost everything going on inside with brutal efficiency. Lord Manley Supreme, can you tell us what your thoughts are of the plot and the score on your coveted Italica Kotovar themed scoreboard?
11 Florida broccoli.
Whoa! That's joint second.
Joint second, yeah. It's not quite up there with Candyman because it wasn't a success, but my God, it was diabolical. Mm. It was incredibly well thought out.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that McClane, they'd have bloody gotten away with it.
Yeah, he's one step ahead of everybody apart from McClane. Yeah, perfect plan, really.
I hate you, McClane.
Yeah, it's devious, isn't it? Posing as terrorists initially to throw them off the scent. Yeah, it's good shit.
So I haven't seen 4 or 5 of the Die Hard series, but of the first 3, do you think it's the best plan? It's the most diabolical?
No, I think 3 is better.
3, yeah, 3.
Yeah, 3. 3 is very good as well.
3 is actually my favourite of those 3.
Simon's closer to getting away with it than Hans is. He only gets found out right at the end because he leaves that fucking matchbook from the hotel in it. Apart from that, he would have got away with it.
Yeah.
That one is my favourite because I love the interplay.
Yeah.
There's a lot more hinging on that. There's some more variables, and it still works out quite nicely, doesn't it, for him in that? But this one is sort of like, once we're in the building, that's it. It's done. We need to get these things done. And they get it all done. And then, as we all know, there's the one thing he doesn't factor in is this pesky little NYPD cop at a Christmas do.
Who doesn't play by the rules.
Not even his own. Despite having a slicked, tooled up, and well-financed operation, the one variable Gruber doesn't factor into his plot is a smart, pragmatic, and motivated protagonist in the form of John McClane, throwing a spanner in the works wherever he can. Culminating in his express elevator to hell from the side of the building. Delicious. Do we have the chops to alter Gruber's fate? Craig, how are you going to get Gruber on a beach, earning 20%?
How did this happen? My plan was simple. No, not simple. Efficient. Elegant. What is this cretin blithering about? And now this cowboy has my detonators. We can't afford to leave here with a manhunt on our trail. The FBI must believe we are dead, so blowing the roof is imperative. Did this idiot just call me Booby? I really shouldn't send Carl after this cowboy alone. He's shown himself capable of dealing with us one-on-one. Look at this fucking hipster, with his neat beard and his expensive haircut and his tailored suit. He's even more Eurotrash than I... Oh, wait a second. Mr. Ellis, maybe you are my white knight after all. My apologies for the little joke with the Coca-Cola here. Carl, gibt diesem Mann etwas Kokain. Carl stares at me blankly. I roll my eyes. Get the man some cocaine. Come on, you European mercenaries, I know you're carrying. If any of you are not, search the desks of these executives and bring back what you find. What follows is like a scene from a Christmas card. A snowdrift of nose candy forms on the desk between us. Mr. Ellis has tried and failed to convince McClane to return the detonators, as I knew he would, but no matter. Let him run around up there. He won't dare to come down to the party and start shooting. Now I have a new distraction for the FBI. Mr. Ellis, you seem like a shrewd negotiator. I flatter him, once he's hooted enough toot up his hooter to believe he can take on the world. I'd like you to negotiate with the FBI on our behalf. Our brothers-in-arms must be freed, but they must believe you are me. He enthusiastically starts to undress, suggesting we swap clothes to help sell the deceit. I politely but emphatically decline, encouraging him to learn a few choice German phrases to shout from the rooftop. Once he is primed and I have privately introduced myself and my demands to the FBI, we play the waiting game. The power is cut on schedule, opening the vault. My men hurriedly collect the bonds, and it's time for Ellis to shine. We send him up to the roof with an unloaded gun to meet the hostages. I radio the FBI to inform them I am heading to the roof, as I head instead to the parking garage. I know that McClane will hear the transmission and head to the roof also, and I know the FBI will not hesitate to shoot any armed men they see from their gunship. At that distance, Ellis will easily be mistaken for me. In the parking garage, Carl kills a limousine driver who attempts to ram our getaway vehicle. Amidst the chaos, we slip away in the ambulance. By the time they identify the bodies, we will be long gone.
Very good.
Good impression,
like
too.
It. That's, yeah.
Dankeschön.
Yeah, personally, I really liked that. I like the way you worked Ellis in.
No one wants your opinion.
The one question I have is, would the phrase hipster have been around at that time? I have my doubts.
That does completely ruin my plan, if not, right?
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, Craig. Yeah, that's it.
It undermines the foundation because that's your building block.
I think Hipster was around then. I'm going to say that it was first published in the novel Less Than Zero.
I'm Googling it right now.
Yeah, I think Gruber and Ellis are both probably 80s hipsters, potentially, aren't they? With their beards.
Oh, okay. 1960s, but it originally was a jazz slang term.
All right.
There you go.
Like hepcat. Okay, fine.
Yeah, and we're as far away from hipsters as we could possibly get, you and I, Lord Manly Supreme. Would you like to tell us your dastardly scheme next?
Oh, bloody would. And I'd like to preface it by saying I didn't have an idea for the longest time for this, and then I got my fourth corona shot on Thursday, and in my fevered night dreams, it came to me.
A vision.
I can confirm this. He's told me this already.
Was it like that sequence in Ghostbusters where they released the thing, the containment field from the storage device, and there's like ghosts flying everywhere?
I thought you were going to say like the scene where the Ray dreams that he's being blown by a ghost.
It was a bit like that.
Yeah.
It was a bit like all of that. First the Craig's bit, and then the Turner bit. I woke up and I couldn't sleep. I was up from like 3 a.m. till about 5, tossing and turning, and I tried to stay away from my screen, but I jotted down a few notes, and then I came back to write out in full to develop the idea. And I realized there's quite a lot of holes in it. It wasn't perhaps the best laid plan, but I thought, fuck it, I won't bother going back and changing it. I'm just going to pretty much read it based on the idea I had when I was at like 38 degrees.
Glowing orbs.
Yeah, it very much was. Here we go. John McClane needs to be eliminated before I can even think about escaping. So I focus my efforts there first. Carl, my porn-haired comrade, returns from an encounter with McClane. He is clearly thirsty for revenge. Chuckling at the corpse of the formerly confident Ellis, I devise the perfect plan. I drag Ellis into the main room. Unless you'd like to end up like this walking cliché, I suggest you tell me where his office is. Now. Once inside, a furtive search uncovers around a kilo of coke, spread across several bathroom and desk stashes. I call over Carl and another crony. I want you to go to where you last encountered McClane, I say. Follow his tracks. Then, what I want you to do is... Carl and his crony return to the scene of the encounter where McClane shredded his feet on the glass. They follow the trail of blood until they come to a bathroom door. They hear McClane having an emotional wobble with some guy named Al, but they do not enter. Instead, they spread the cocaine on the floor, covering the area immediately outside the door. Then they return to me. Upon leaving the toilet, McClane steps in the coke. Vast quantities enter through his open wounds, coursing straight into his bloodstream. He is as high as Judy Garland in literal moments. Meanwhile, my men and I have put all of the hostages in an office that can be easily defended. I then get on the radio. McClane, show yourself, or I'll kill a hostage for every 10 minutes you keep me waiting. Amped up, but also paranoid at the thought of causing the death of these innocent people, he charges in. My men are waiting, and Carl easily picks him off as he runs in guns a-blazing recklessly. Now I turn my attentions to escape. I radio the police and demand 100 Santa suits, pronto. And not any old shit. Santa suits of undeniable quality, complete with sacks. Once they arrive, I force the hostages to put them on. I grab the famous wrapping tape and bind their mouths and their hands behind their backs. Then I strap freshly filled sacks to them. I need a helicopter on the roof, I tell the police. As a show of good faith, I'm sending out some hostages. I send out about 10 through the front doors. I let the police begin to usher them to safety before, boom, the sacks go off. They were filled with C4 all along. Now I've exploded some humans. Ho, ho, ho. I send out another wave of Santas, some with C4, some without. Boom, boom, boom. A third wave, boom. In all the confusion, my cronies load the loot into the ambulance, and we drive out easy peasy. By the time they figure out what went wrong, we'll be sitting on a beach, earning 20%.
Worryingly, both plots so far are heavily involving cocaine.
Yeah, so when Craig said that, I was like, wow.
So I'm interested to hear what Gaz is going to say.
It doesn't involve cocaine.
But at least I could blame mine on a fever. Craig has just went straight to Coke Town.
So I liked the way you were heading there. What I don't really get is why you're sending out hostages carrying sacks of C4 dressed as Santa to blow up. When the original plan, once McClane's out of the way, you can carry on with it and just blow up the roof like you were gonna.
Nah, I wanted to make it Christmassy.
What I thought you were going to say is, you also, as the terrorists, you also disguise yourselves as Santas, and then you all leg it, and then the police are like, oh, there's loads of Santas running out. Are they the terrorists or the hostages? We can't shoot. We don't know. And then, by the time they've figured out what to do, all the Santas have, they're getting away. Maybe one or two of the terrorists don't make it out, but most of them do.
Yeah. Well, listen, when I was rewriting this after having jotted down some odd notes at like 3 a.m, I thought all of this. But I thought, fuck it, I'm just going for it because it's fucking mad. I don't know where it came from, any of it. I wasn't awake for half of it. And one of the things I thought of the most, and I'm just going to pick out my own plan here, is they've followed McClane's blood trail to the toilet door when they just step in and shoot him in the head. But I thought, fuck it, I'm in too deep now. I'm pouring the Coke on the floor and I'm walking away.
Well, he's deadly, isn't he?
That's to be honest, it makes a more entertaining plan that way. I think if you just said that, then it would have been like, okay.
Yeah.
The bigger question about that is, if there is a blood trail for them to follow to that toilet, why don't they do it immediately?
Oh, and there is, because you see it.
I know that he has blood trail when he goes into the toilet, but I don't think it goes all the way back to where they last saw him, because if it did, why wouldn't they have just followed it immediately?
There was a reason they're called back, aren't they? I think Gruber calls them back.
They get the detonators, don't they? They get the detonators. Yeah, that's what they find. They find the bag, don't they? Because he just legs it. And then they go, here's
they find a bag that he leaves there, and there's no blood trail there by the bag. So I think he doesn't start bleeding that heavily until he's got a bit further away.
No, but they don't try and track him because they take they're pros, aren't they?
Yeah, they need to get the job done, don't they? To get the money and stuff. They need to get the roof going, so they need those detonators. And then once they've got that going, and then he sends Carl out afterwards, doesn't need to go and get him.
What I thought happened was he leaves the bag of detonators there and he legs it to the exit door that's lit up. And it's on that journey that he first gets the glass in his feet. And he doesn't start bleeding until he's gone through that exit door. I feel like they wouldn't have been able to track him from where he was. Otherwise, we'd see that blood trail by the detonators. In
the trivia that I was looking at, apparently Bruce Willis had to wear like special things on his bare feet, like thick soles. So he ran over it. If you look closely, he was wearing something to protect his feet. So he must have been running over the glass in the film for real, sort of thing.
I think that's just a vanity fake story, and really his feet are just calloused, heavily calloused.
he's got blooming hobbit feet, hasn't he? Oh, stove your head in!
So there you go. There's my plan that was the equivalent of a coked up story, but just a COVIDed up story.
Excellent. Gaz, are you going to sober us up now?
Are you going to take us down the rabbit hole even further?
Well, you tell me once I've finished.
It's going to be another crazy one, isn't it?
The safe is open and Hans and the gang are a hair's breadth away from escaping with mucho dinero. There's just one problem, of course, a young Turk named John McClane. He isn't Turkish to the best of my knowledge, it's just an old expression. Although the character could be of Turkish origin, the screenplay, rather sloppily, never makes his country of origin clear. Very sloppy. And what is the movie villain's number one way of torturing/getting rid of a plucky hero? Playing a game with them. Think of the Joker in The Dark Knight as he tries to break Batman's moral compass, or Jigsaw's fiendish torture traps in the Saw films, or even Simon Gruber's Simon Says riddles from Die Hard with a Vengeance. Yes, you've worked it out, haven't you? On to whatever floor of Nakatomi Plaza it is that McClane is on, strides a colossus of game playing. You're one step ahead of me, I can tell. The camera pans up, and slowly we see this mythological Adonis is wearing shorts with a print that resembles multicoloured paint splatters on a white canvas. A Jackson Pollock piece almost. Past his taut, sexy waist, we see that his t-shirt is that self-same print. a matching top and bottom half outfit that speaks to the man's rapier intelligence. He does not want to waste time using brainpower deciding what to wear. It's an all-in-one outfit for him. Upon his godlike face sit a pair of bright red-framed glasses, and atop his head sits a baseball cap slung at a jaunty angle with the same Jackson Pollock-style print as his t-shirt and shorts. My God, he's done the triple. He carries in his hand a pink-headed mallet with a smiley face drawn upon its head. Yes, Timmy Mallet is in the house! He brings with him one of those German boys, the blonde one. He and McClane sit in chairs opposite one another, with Timmy stood in the middle. Welcome to Mallet's Malice. I'm your host, Timmy Mallet. The rules are simple. Mallet's Mallet is a word association game where you mustn't pause, hesitate, or repeat a word, otherwise you might get a bash on the head like this, boink, or like this, boink. The one with the most bruises loses. Look at each other and go, Blair. Look at everyone at home and go, Blair. Everyone look at him and go, Blair. Blair. McClane shakes his head, laughs, and intones, whatever you say, pal. Here is your first word to start things off. Car. McClane, drive. German, car. Oh no, how silly of me. Timmy boinks him on the head lightly for his first infraction upon the sacred rules. Repetition. Here's your second word, says Timmy. Man. McClane, woman, German, pretty. McClane, horse, German, powerful. McClane, bodybuilder, German, Arnold Schwarzenegger. McClane, red heat, German, Russia. McClane, Timmy boinks John on the head. Sorry, no hesitating. Now, for your third word, Timmy says. Tragedy. German, comedy. McClane, Bernard Manning. German, racist. McClane, KKK. German, the South. McClane, Colonel Sanders. German, Ronald McDonald. McClane, Pennywise the Dancing Clown. German, Oleg Popov. McClane is well and truly stumped. He looks to his feet for a moment before looking back up to Timmy Mallet and shaking his head to say no. That was his final mistake, for Timmy has swapped his comedy mallets for a sledgehammer and swings it down with all of his might upon McClane's head, exploding it like that bit in Scanners that everybody goes on about. Timmy and the blonde German place their hands upon their hips and laugh. Oh my, how they laugh, for they have defeated New York's finest in the simple word association game and will now escape with the money dead easily.
Holy shit.
Well, I'd like to say some of your previous plans have been batshit crazy, Gaz, but that really takes the cake.
Is that the plan that you've been sitting on for weeks, that you keep saying, I've got a plan that I'm going to use at some point, just when the time's right?
Bringing in the mallet.
No, this one came to me after several days of frantic searching through my inbox for ideas, and yeah. Inspiration struck me.
I was going to say through clips of Mallet's Mallet to make sure you get the speech right.
Oh, yeah. I did my research.
I must say, Gruber's foresight to bring in the mallet is a stroke of genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was he going to do with him if there wasn't a John McClane type character in the building?
Well, what he's going to do afterwards with the money from the safe is fund a new primetime slot TV show for Timmy Mallet. So he's got two uses out of him. He's got a hit TV show and he's got a dead New York cop.
Don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but I think what Tim was asking is, why was Timmy Mallet at Nakatomi Plaza?
Yeah. Yeah, why did
he's getting ready to work on a new TV show.
So it was happenstance that, obviously that he managed to find, John McClane was there, then he went, I know the perfect way to neutralise this fucker. Timmy, get your mallet. It's
not commonly known, but Timmy Mallet is kind of a hard man for hire for criminal gangs. If you want someone tortured or vaguely destroyed, get the mallet in. That's what they say. Send for the mallet.
There is a bit of movie trivia to back that up, because I know when Vinnie Jones was searching the role for Lockstock, he spent some time with Mallet.
Indeed.
The one question I have was, how did they convince John McClane, the New York policeman, to participate in a round of Mallet's Mallet?
Because he's very amenable, isn't he, with the computer and with the guy on the airplane. You just tell him to do stuff and he's like, whatever you say. I don't understand it, but hey, LA, man, I'll go along with it.
Do you know what? You've convinced me there. I think I agree.
And so how do they escape, as they would have done in the film? Like, blow up the rooftop and out in the ambulance? Is that your plan?
Yeah, that plus you've got Timmy Mallet just wrecking any shit that's in the way with his sledgehammer. I neglected to mention, but it's also a little known fact that Timmy Mallet has bulletproof skin. So he's just striding out, swatting things with his sledgehammer.
They've got him strapped across the front of the ambulance, just deflecting bullets.
Yeah. Kevlar woven into his DNA. Well, personally, I'm glad to say that I'm glad we got this new formula now, because I would hate to pick the winner this week from these last three. It's absolutely horrendous so far, but I think you can probably safely say none of you are going to vote for this one.
He's trying to get us to feel sorry for me, guys. Don't fall
this
for
is
it.
the
It's
simply
fucking-
vote. I'm just going to find some violin music as I read this out now. Okay.
Oh no. It's so bad. Oh, it's so bad. Ooh.
Oh no, you won't believe what I've written down here. Like, I tell you, you're never gonna believe this one. Oh god, all right, terrible one. This.
I've got no votes and I've got no friends.
12 terrorists, 1 cop. The odds are against John McClane, but that's just the way he likes it, baby. Apparently. Well, at least that's according to the poster and the end of the film. Anywho, Gruber has everything working in his favour, but one determined cop is his undoing. It's clear to me that each time one or more of his team is sent out to eliminate McClane, they get eliminated themselves, the bloody nitwits, drastically reducing Gruber's odds of a win. Tut, tut, tut. After they have significantly deterred the police, but losing his own comrades in the process, it's time for a change of tack. Knowing that the building is secure against external threats, it's time to isolate the internal threat of McClane. Calling his remaining chums back to party level, Gruber hatches a plan. He needs to box McClane in if he cannot kill him. Knowing that one of the lifts is now out of action, Gruber also disables the other lift, making McClane's method of travel limited to stairways. Using some small amounts of his C4, Gruber works his way up the building, taking out the stairways, so John McClane has only one way to go, up, forcing McClane toward the roof and slowly sending up the hostages in the now re-enabled lift. As the hostages and McClane have nowhere else to go, they head up, sending the rest of the thieves downstairs to start loading the loot and making sure we have a clean escape, taking out a limo driver in the process. The FBI intervene as planned, the roof is blown, the choppers come down, and Gruber and pals make good their escape.
What happened?
I know they escaped, but I just don't know how.
Yeah.
I was making notes, but I couldn't keep up. So right, they disable the lift, and then
And then they take out the stairs.
how do they take out the stairs?
With small amounts of C4.
What, can't he just jump over them? Also, isn't his preferred method of travel down the building to tie a fire hose around his waist and jump off the roof? That's how he likes to go downstairs.
Well, that's only when he's getting shot at by the FBI and they're going to blow up the roof, isn't it?
I don't think you could block off the stairways. I don't think they got enough C4 to block off the stairways.
They just destroy the stairs. They just blow the stairs up each way. All as they're going up, it just go bang, 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 so he can't climb down.
All you got to do is just get loads of wet floor signs to block off the stairs.
Yeah.
Every floor.
Yeah. Oh.
Stick them in front of every level.
If you've had Mallet working for you, you could have put them out for you.
Oh, yeah. Now we're talking.
My plot's been undone.
Yeah.
Cheers, Gaz. You arsehole.
It was looking pretty flawless until that came up.
And wait, the other bit that I struggled with is, did you say that they re-enabled the lift?
Yeah, they disable it first, so they take out a 13 amp fuse out of the plug.
Yeah.
And then later on they put the 13 amp fuse back in it.
So why doesn't he just go down the lift then?
The terrorist's using it then, and he thinks the lift is already out of action.
Okay.
Basically, I'm not expecting to win this week.
I think that's a reasonable expectation.
Right, a quick summation of the plots. Craig's plot was to basically have Ellis as a negotiator / Gruber while high on cocaine and obviously peel into his massive, massive ego, which is a wonderful idea. Lord Manley Supreme had a similar substance-based scheme, where he's to get McClane unwittingly high on cocaine through his feet and then have the hostages go outside dressed as Father Christmas and randomly explode them, there's a lot in there. There's a lot. In a more sobering and down-to-earth scheme, Gaz had late 1980s children's TV star Timmy Mallet joining hands and his team. And
is he dead?
No, as in the late 80s.
Oh, right, late 80s. Okay.
Thanks for spoiling my summary.
Craig was going to go into a period of mourning.
Just gonna go walk around just as a big pink hammer for a week.
Just sadly saying Blair every now and then.
Oh wow!
Oh my god! So we would have Timmy Mallet joining Hans and the crew, and eventually sledgehammering John McClane to death. But as we all know, the decision is up to you. No, it's up to us.
You didn't recap your own plan.
Oh, my plan. Yeah, my plan.
No point.
Doesn't really matter. My plan was to blow up the stairs to make sure John McClane couldn't come down the building and cause more shite. Take a 13-amp fuse out here, put one in back there. You know how it goes. Magic.
Had the home advantage this week, didn't you?
Yeah, I really did. Really paid off. Really paid off. So, panel of peril, would you all like to cast your votes, and we shall reveal our winners shortly. Lord Manly Supreme, if you could please reveal your vote.
I voted for Gaz's Timmy Mallet madness.
Ooh, Craig.
I've broken my usual rule of verisimilitude, and I've also voted for G-Sizzle. Just for pure invention and the lingering thought of sadly saying Blair.
Gaz, would you like to reveal your vote?
Craig, because his plan seemed like it might actually work.
Yes, it definitely did appeal to the sensibilities of a scheme, but yeah, in completely the opposite direction, I've gone with Lord Manly Supreme and Craig and voted for Gaz. So Gaz is this week's winner.
It's a landslide. Thank you.
Tuppence to you, Gareth. Tuppence.
God almighty.
What does that do to the scoreboard, Gaz?
Oh, my word. I was in joint last place with Adam on a point apiece, and now it's joint first place with Craig, 3 points apiece. Second place with 2 points is Lord Manly Supreme, and in last place with a single point is Adam.
All to play for, Adam. We're only 3 episodes in to season 2. Everything to play for.
No, this is episode 5, isn't it?
Oh, shit. Sorry. I don't think you can catch up.
But, keep turning up. We'll give you a shiny badge at the end of it.
So congratulations, Gaz. However, Lord Manly Supreme, can you please reveal which film we will be watching next week?
I'm going to keep the festive train rolling. We're going to be watching Home Alone, baby.
A whopper pick.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Did you think I wasn't going to pick Home Alone, for a Christmas episode? I don't think so.
And that brings us to an end of this week's episode. Thank you for listening, and we hope you've enjoyed yourselves as much as we have. If you have, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. You can follow us across social media on @DiabolicalPod. Most importantly, if you know someone who might like the pod, please share it with them. As we all know, the gift of giving leads to enlightenment. So until next time, dear listener, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!
weather outside is shocking, and they brought some corn for popping.
So you better pull your pants down, start fucking. It's Christmas again.
Please leave us a 5-star review on Apple iPods.
On Apple iPods.
I've written for some reason I've written iTunes and said Apple iPods.
Apple Podcasts, dude.
Apple Podcasts. Let me just retype that. I've done a Ron Burgundy, haven't I?
Ron Burgundy? Go fuck
yourself, San Diego.
I think that went very well.